Hi, I'm Harriet Hodgson. Welcome to my apartment, which is really a gallery. So the minute you enter my apartment, you see art. I started writing books when I was very young. When I was 8 years old, I used to write and illustrate books for my friends in the neighborhood. I was co-editor of my college literary magazine, and when I started teaching, I thought, I'll write some articles for teaching journals, and much to my surprise, they accepted them. And then I thought, that is my name in print. I was so excited. I taught for 12 years and finally retired from that. I figured I'd given teaching all I could. And I thought, I'm going to try writing, and that's what I did. This is a shelf of the books I have written. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy of every one, but Winning was released in September, and I'm very excited. It is a finalist in the Indie Book of the Year awards. I'm very glad I was a writer married to a doctor. First of all, my husband was an excellent writer himself. I'm glad I had other things to think of during the day, because if you don't have your own identity, it can be very difficult for a physician's wife. But I had an identity, I had a purpose. Basically, I write to figure things out. I carry a small notebook with me because when I'm at the grocery store, I might get an idea for a book and I jot it down. I had no idea when I started out that I would write 46 books. I try to write books that help people. Writing to help people in the long run helps me. I'm glad to be here, and when we moved back, I walked out on the back deck and I threw out my arms and I yelled, "Rochester, I love you." And I do love Rochester, and the people are kind, the people are caring. In 2007, my daughter, who was a composite engineer, worked in Fridley, but lived in Rochester. So she drove to Fridley every day. Coming back from a meeting, she was intersecting from a rural road onto a main highway and apparently didn't see the oncoming car. The car was hit broadside. Her daughter was in the car. One of the nurses from Mayo 1 called me, and she said, "Your daughter has been in an accident," and she said, "It's very bad." Mayo surgeons operated on my daughter for 20 hours. And finally, the doctor said my daughter was brain dead. My granddaughter had a mild concussion. My daughter died on a Friday. 2 days later, my father-in-law died. And then a couple of months later, my brother and only sibling died of cancer. And then several months after that, my twin grandchildren's father died from the injuries he received in a second car crash. We were their grandparents and we're going to do the best we could. My husband and I looked at each other and said, are we too old to do this? We're in our early 70s, but we did it. We were there at the gymnastics meets cheering. We were there at the plays. We did everything we could. I began researching grief and I learned a lot. I learned about anticipatory grief, post-death grief, grief avoidance, which can be very problematic. And I thought, gee, researching grief has helped me. Maybe it could help other people. So I had been basically a health and wellness author, and I just switched to grief and grief healing. My grandson is now a resident, a physician at Mayo Clinic, second year of residency, and my granddaughter married a minister and has 2 young boys. I think I wrote 40 books because I could not avoid writing 40 books. There was always a book inside me. I think because I'm so curious. I am curious about everything in life. We moved into Charterhouse in 2019, and my husband died in 2020. And you were filming in his bedroom, which was a room of sadness. It was packed wall to wall with medical equipment. A week after my husband died, I was shocked. I went online and I ordered a round table, and when it came, I put it in the middle of the room. But then I realized my subconscious was telling me something. And I realized that that round table was supposed to be a place of art. I started doing doodle art early in the morning, and I did doodle art for about 20 minutes, and in some ways it was like a nap. And I realized it energized me, it refreshed me, it took me away from my problems. And I thought, oh, it's a book. If it helps me, it could help other people. And so I started writing Grief Doodling, Bringing Back Your Smiles. I was asked to serve as chair of the Arts and Decorating Committee. What I did not know was that I was in charge of the lobby display exhibit. And all of a sudden I realized we're going to enter a new month and I had to have an exhibit. What could I do? I had a few teapots. I ordered teapots online. Charterhouse residents loved the teapot exhibit. And the exhibit used to be changed every 3 months. Now I do it monthly. They're excited about the next exhibit. The one that's on now is coffee mugs. I love this one. Washington, D.C. was so expensive, I only could buy half a mug. That's funny. I wrote Grief in Your Words because I realized I had literally done it. I had written 11 grief books, and with every one, I took a healing step forward. With every one, I took a step forward to the future that was waiting for me. And I think attitude counts a lot. I think the best way I can honor my loved ones is to enjoy the miracle of my life and be happy every day. Every life is a miracle. And if you think of it that way, then just embrace the miracle in honor of the loved ones who are gone.